Welcome back to week 8 of Mounds View High School's Investment Club. This week, the first point we're going to be covering is responsible investing. And investing really is a good option in any situation or any age with kind of any surrounding circumstances, but there's a way to invest responsibly and there's irresponsible investing. And those things vary for a multitude of reasons, and picking an investment style that suits your risks and your needs is really going to be your major goal in building a portfolio. So what that means is knowing when you can take risks and when you can't take risks, or when those risks are going to outweigh the reward, or when the reward will outweigh the risks. And what you're trying to figure out when you're building any portfolio for anybody, yourself, another person, is what can they financially take as a hit versus how willing are they to risk things for that reward. And things that can change that would be your age, your current financial status, the amount of money you take in every year versus the amount of money you spend every year. If you're able or currently have a savings or a fund somewhere in case something pops up as kind of cover money, in case something goes wrong, being able to bounce back, or if you have any future plans you know of that will dramatically impact your financial ability to spend or gain money, such as going to college or paying for someone else's college, things like that that would majorly impact your financial status, are things to take into consideration when thinking about what it means to invest responsibly and knowing what investment style is the most responsible and would fit your needs best. Now, we're going to look at a couple examples here in a second of people and investment strategies that they should be looking at. And I know these are pretty simple, but think these through. And then another thing I'd like for you to do is, after we've gone through both of those, pause the video for a minute and think about the situation you're in versus your parents in, and what each of you should be investing in, how you should invest, and see how that differs with just 20 years, how different it is of an investment style you'd each need or want. Now, the first example we have is someone is 50 years old. They make a yearly combined income of $75,000. They spend roughly $50,000 every year. They have a savings account for emergencies or any other problems that holds $15,000. They're also putting one child through college right now. So this person, to explain some things further, they're looking towards retirement soon because they're 50, which is another big impact people have to look at when looking at investment strategies. Another thing you notice, they have a $25,000 difference between their income and expense. That means they have roughly $25,000 to play with. That's a good start, and knowing that they have $15,000 set aside for emergencies. But you also have to consider that if putting a kid through college probably means lots of unexpected expenses, or expenses might be changing. So pause the video for a minute now and think through which one of these 4 options do you think would fit best with this person's needs for investing right now. I'll pause for a second. Okay, so this person should B, invest passively, for 2 main reasons. One, at the age of 50, you will be looking towards retirement soon. And that has a major impact in how you need to invest. Because once you're retired, your sources of income are solely your investments, which means you won't be making money from a job anymore. So you need investments that will last until you pass away. So you need them to be safe, secure, and to make a constant small amount of money that you can live off of. The second major thing why they would want a more passive investment style would be the fact that they are putting a child through college. College is expensive. It can have some unexpected outcomes or issues along with it. So that's a huge financial unknown or variable that they're currently dealing with. So he doesn't want to pick a strategy, or they don't want to pick a strategy that could possibly lose them a lot of money when they need to be putting so much money into schooling of a child and the fact that they're looking towards retiring soon. Those two factors make it so this person would not want a overly aggressive style and would be looking more towards a long-term slow growth portfolio. Example 2 is 26 years old, makes yearly income of $45,000, has a yearly expense of $30,000, and $7,500 in a savings account for emergencies. They've just graduated from college, which is now fully paid off. Some factors to think about with this one are the age, college, and the gap of income to expense. I'll pause for a second so you can think it through. Now, this is kind of a more interesting example because the answer that fits best would be D, all of the above. Because at 26, with $15,000 of excess income, you can look to start setting up a long-term retirement fund or later in life fund if that's what you're planning towards and aiming towards. But you could also be looking for more of a aggressive 5 or 10-year plan that's attempting to make as much money as you can short term to be able to invest that money in a long-term account later on. So a good option for that would be to look at a startup or to look at more risky stocks. But really, in this case, it's ultimately up to that person to make a decision of, do I want to start saving long-term now, or do I want to try and risk it a little bit more and look for a short-term outcome that might come back with a loss? And that's really up to each individual to decide at this point, and there's no real factors with this limited information to tell you what would fit best for them, except for what they believe will fit best and what they want. The second thing I'll be covering this week would be the final paper. I know this is a ways out with a due date of December 11th, but remember it's due at 5 p.m., so really you want this done by December 10th. There's some requirements for this one, and they're a little bit different than the midterm. It's still 12-point Times New Roman. It's still double-spaced. So still the basic formatting and everything. The big difference is this should be 11 pages. I know it's a lot. There's a thorough breakdown on their website. I'll have it linked in the description. I highly suggest you look at that and start thinking about this paper sooner rather than later before you have to scramble to write this, because this will probably take more than one day to write. Some of the tips that they say that they want to see in these papers are that each paper is unique. They don't want the same copy-paste techniques and ideas that everyone else is using. They want something different, something that doesn't fit what we currently see every single day, and something that would stand out more to the judges, and something that you can really put yourself behind and say, we invested this way because we thought of this. Another major point they said was make it understandable. This paper isn't supposed to be filled with jargon and financial know-how. This is supposed to be explained to a client who is not a financial investor. He's a client that you're trying to win over. So make it something that an everyday person would understand every word. Don't throw long words in there. Don't throw confusing words or phrases in there. Make it short, understandable, and make it something that they'll be able to understand completely. Use graphics, use charts, use images. It's highly recommended. It takes up a good amount of space, which is very useful. And it can help explain your points a lot better than words can sometimes. And especially if you're trying to explain something to a client, having a graphic that shows a pie chart or something along those lines that they can look at will help them understand what you're trying to say a lot better than putting out all those percents one after another and having them try and figure it out in their head. One of the final points is keep this client in mind. Whatever you do, don't start talking about how it's best to invest this way for everybody. The goal of this paper and this project is to win one person's investment and to get him on board with investing with you. So keep nailing home how this investment is best for this one person. And make sure you explain why this investment style in the portfolio you've built will do the most good for him in his future and what he wants to do. The final thing is stay calm. You have teammates. You have a team leader that'll help you through this. Write a little bit. Try and just explain your thinking process of why you picked each stock, and you'll do fine on this paper. That's it for week 8. Let your team leader know if you have any other questions.